Now, I can bring my water. Okay, it is 6 p.m. I will call the meeting to order. We'll start with our flag salute.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Annette, can you please take the roll?
Mrs. Parenti?
Here.
Mrs. Schuler?
Here.
Mrs. Zajac?
Here.
Ms. Jeffrey?
Here.
Mr. Nicolai?
Here.
Mrs. Perry?
Here.
Mrs. Quinn?
Here.
Mrs. Reynolds?
Here.
Mr. Thornton?
Here.
Thank you. Now I'd like to introduce our Spanish interpreter, Mrs. Suzette Marie Carter. Thank you. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of the public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed and acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of the Act, the Board Secretary has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted on the bulletin board located in the hallway outside of the administrative offices. A notice was provided to the Courier News, the Home News Tribune, and the Middlesex Borough Clerk. We do not need to go into executive session tonight, so we move on to our presentations. Our first is our school spotlight. Mrs. Karen Dudley, principal of Watchung School, will present Kindness Matters.
So I wanted to spend some time tonight to focus on kindness as opposed to our typical academic focus, because in a culture of kindness, that's where academics can really thrive. So one of our main focuses at Watchung School is kindness for students towards one another, staff, just kind of all around as a general theme. And, we find that the more kind our students are to one another and our staff is to one another, the better the environment is and the more conducive it is for the academic pieces. So one of the things I wanted to talk a little bit about was the Great Kindness Challenge, which is, this is an actual organization. We subscribe to become a part of that organization, and there are different challenges over the course of a themed week that our students can participate in and that our staff can focus on with the school community. So the goal of the Great Kindness Challenge organization is to empower your students to create a culture of kindness. And I've just included the link to their website there. So what is the Great Kindness Challenge? So it's a week-long celebration that occurs every year at the end of January. There is a kindness checklist that the students receive that they can focus on during their school day, and also a version that they can focus on at home. At Watchung School, we focus on daily themes, so kind of encouraging the kids to come to school, school-wide themes, dress themes, depending on the day of the week. Daily, there is a targeted kindness act. So Mrs. Kaufman, our school counselor, works to promote different kindness acts that our students can participate in each day of the Great Kindness Challenge Week. There are video links that she provides to staff so that they can present them to their class, focusing on kindness. And then again, other activities that can be completed during their school day. So when is the Great Kindness Challenge? We are actually celebrating next week, which is why I kind of felt like this is the perfect time to bring it up, to promote it. So we actually started celebrating the Great Kindness Challenge my first year at Watch on School. So that was the 2018-19 school year. We've done it every year since with various themes, different videos, different activities. So some examples of theme days we've used in the past were Powered by Kindness, which was dressing like your favorite superhero. Pairing Up with Kindness, which was a twins day, or however many you wanted to get together in your group and dress alike. Kindness is Cool, Dress Up for School, so Dress Up for Success theme. And then I've included what this year's theme days are. So on Monday, we will have just a school-wide school spirit theme. So it's Watchung Wales Unite for Kindness. So they'll wear their Watchung Wales gear. Tuesday will be a pajama day themed around dreaming of kindness. Wednesday will be Team Up for Kindness, so dress in your favorite sports gear or team uniform. Thursday is Wild About Kindness, so wear camo or animal print to school. And then Friday we'll have Workout Problems with Kindness, wear your workout clothes. So these are our themes that we'll be focusing on next week. So I've included here a video that came off of YouTube, but it's an example of some third graders in another school that did what's called a kindness boomerang. So I'll just take a second to play that for everyone.
Sometimes I lay under the moon. I thank God I'm breathing. And I pray, don't take me soon, cause I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't wanna fight no more, there'll be no more, and our children will play one day, one day, one day, one day, one day. We all knew when they bleed on the souls of the innocent, blood drenched pavement. Keep on moving, though the water stay raging. In this space, you can lose your way. In my job, you crazy, but don't let it face you. No way, no way. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been lying for the people to say that we don't wanna fight no more, that we don't no more, and our children will play one day, one day. Stop with the violence, down with the hate. They will all be free and proud to be under the same sun, singing songs of freedom like one day, one day. All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't wanna fight no more, there'll be no more, and our children will play one day, one day,
You got me? So it's just one example of one of the types of videos that the students may be exposed to and have an opportunity to view during the course of the week. So other kindness activities, some of those things that students will focus on during the week: be kind to your parents, tell them you love them, make them a card, make a new friend or include others, compliment a classmate. So these are simple acts that don't take a lot. They don't take necessarily resources. It's just the thought of others. Be kind to yourself. Eat a healthy snack. Drink water. Congratulate yourself for something you've achieved. Say hello to someone you don't know at school. Hold the door for someone. All just simple things that we can do on a daily basis to show kindness towards one another, but that make our learning environment a place where people feel welcome, students feel welcome, and ready to learn. So here we have just an example of one of the resources that comes from the Great Kindness Challenge website. This is the school edition with all types of activities that students can complete to show kindness. And it's something that they can hold on to. It doesn't just have to be next week during our week of our Great Kindness Challenge week. So benefits of a focus on kindness: a greater sense of community for our students and our staff, improved mental health. We've got higher self-esteem. It reduces our bullying and also enhances our students' social skills. So just a quote that we've all seen, I'm sure, but words to definitely live by: in a world where you can be anything, be kind. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mrs. Dudley. Okay, now we'll move on to our District Employee of the Month. The Board of Education will recognize the January District Employee of the Month. Will Mrs. Rivera please come to the podium? Mrs. Rivera consistently exceeds expectations in her role as a classroom aide. She not only fulfills her duties with excellence, but often arrives early or stays late to assist in other classrooms or settings. Her kindness, compassion, and positive outlook brighten every situation. Mrs. Rivera's warm demeanor fosters strong connections with students and colleagues alike. She works tirelessly to support her students, the entire school, and her team, always ready to lend a hand whenever needed. Each morning, she greets students and parents with a smile, creating a welcoming atmosphere. Beyond her classroom role, she supports students during lunch and structured play, demonstrating care and dedication to all children at Watchung School. Her thoughtfulness extends to her colleagues as well, often bringing in delicious baked goods. Did you bring any tonight? And uplifting everyone with her positive attitude. Mrs. Rivera's hard work and commitment over the past 2 years have made a meaningful impact. She is truly an invaluable member of the school community. Congratulations, Mrs. Rivera. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you very much.
So that's the photographer. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, now we will move on to our School Board Recognition Month. Whereas the New Jersey School Boards Association has declared January 2025 to be the School Board Recognition Month, a time when all residents can acknowledge the contributions made by our local school board members And whereas the Middlesex Borough Board of Education is one of 581 local school boards in New Jersey, which sets policies and oversees operations for public school districts. And whereas the Middlesex Borough Board of Education embraces the goal of high-quality education for all New Jersey public school students. And whereas New Jersey's local school boards help determine the educational goals for approximately 1.4 million children in pre-kindergarten through 12th grade. And whereas New Jersey's 5,000 local school board members who receive no remuneration for their services act as advocates for public school students as they work with administrators, teachers, and parents for the betterment of public education. And whereas school boards strive to provide the resources necessary to meet the needs of all students, including those with special needs. And whereas boards of education provide accountability to the public, they communicate the needs of the school district to the public, and they convey to school administrators the public's expectations for the schools, and advanced placement offerings and SAT assessments. Therefore, no, that doesn't seem good. And whereas New Jersey can take pride in its schools, which rank among the nation's best in key achievement indicators such as the National Assessment of Educational Progress Scores and the preparation for college through. I think this is not on here, right? Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Middlesex Borough Board of Education does hereby recognize the services of local school board members throughout New Jersey as we join communities statewide in observing January 2025 as School Board Recognition Month. And be it further resolved that the Middlesex Borough Board of Education urges all New Jersey citizens to work with their local boards of education and public school staffs toward the advancements of our children's education. Yeah. That was impressive. Sweating. Okay, now we'll move on to our announcements. So I would just like to thank Mrs. Dudley for that great presentation. Congratulate again, Mrs. Rivera. We really, it's very important to us to make sure that the staff is recognized when they go above and beyond. So we thank you for everything that you do. I don't know if I said this at our reorg meeting, but if so, I'll say it again. I just wanted to welcome Mr. Thornton to the board and say that I'm honored and privileged to once again be the board president, and I look forward to working with Sharon this year to have an amazing year. And that's all that I have. Now our superintendent of schools, Dr. Roberta Freeman.
I just want to congratulate Mrs. Rivera once again. Thank you for all that you do. It's a busy month here in January with the snow and the cold weather, but our facilities department, they have been working hard and making sure that we're prepared. So I just want to give a little shout out to them. They're working sometimes overtime and up at 4 o'clock in the morning along with me to make sure that our schools are up and running and ready to go. So thank you to our facilities department, and hopefully it'll be a short winter. That's all I have.
I can vouch for the 4 a.m. by the way. And now our business administrator, board secretary, Ms. Annette Giordano.
Good evening, everyone. Congratulations to Mrs. Rivera. It's great to hear good things that are going on out in our school community and how everybody is so attentive to the students' needs, and that's really good to hear. I don't get out of my office that often, but I like to see what's going on out there, and that's great. I really have no announcements. Budget season is just starting, so we'll get started with that. And that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we will move on to our liaison reports. So I think the first one should be our NJSBA delegate and legislative officer, Mrs. Sharon Schuler.
So the first delegate assembly of 2025 won't be until May. And I don't believe I have a legislative meeting until sometime in February, I think. I will check. I did go on January 8th to a school funding outreach hearing that was held by the Assistant Commissioner of Education. The local one on the 8th was at the Somerville Community Building in Somerville. There were about 35 to 40 people who spoke. There were about 60 plus people in the audience. And the assistant commissioner and two of his staff were willing to listen to all of the different concerns of all of the different districts. Everything from how to better revise the school board funding formula. So I'm glad that they're taking a look at it and looking forward to hopefully it being more equitable. There was a big push, and I'm sure Mrs. Giordano will like to hear this. There was a big push for more transparency and earlier notification. Did you see that face she made? Because we get the numbers and within 5 days, we have to send our documentation to the county superintendent. So it's hurry up and wait and then crunch, right? So I would say out of the 35 people that spoke, probably at least 30 of them mentioned earlier timeline. So
It's good to know.
that's all I have for today.
Thank you. And now our Middlesex Public Library Board of Education representative, Ms. Erin Gomez.
Good evening, everyone. So just a couple of things. The library is doing a history room of Middlesex with artifacts from Middlesex's history, and they're going to hopefully be opening that in March. I know that they wanted to open it a little bit earlier, but now they're moving to March. And also they started their 25 books in 2025. So if you read 25 books in 2025, you earn a tote bag, mugs, and other prizes. So check out what they have going on in the library. I know March is Makers Month, so they're going to be doing a lot of in the maker space in March as well. Thank you.
Thank you. And now our student representative, Ms. Arshdeep Parmar.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I have a presentation to show, so I'll stand. Good evening, everyone. Myself, Arshdeep Parmar, and I'm nervous. Okay, so I had opportunity to talk with the Watchung Elementary School principal, and I got to know about the CKLA program. Today, the goal of my presentation is two things. First, CKLA program, and second, a cadaver lab visit. So, CKLA program stands for Core Knowledge, Language, Art, and Literacy. By the name, as we can understand, this stands for English. And I got this chart from the website, which says that it is divided into two portions, which is language comprehensive and the word recognition, as these two are the core these two are the core topics to making a language more easier for the kids. And over here, knowledge, vocabulary, sentences, sounds, and letter are the keystones. And the goal is to join them together and to help kids to speak more skilled reading and language. As I'm right now in AP Literature, and we are taught that we cannot repeat the words in the essay. We cannot have repetition. And I think this is very useful for the kids because they are going to learn that we do not need to repeat the things over and over again. We need to have more better words. We cannot just say like or perspective. We need more better words for showing our professionalism. The second is the focus is to teach kids the skilled reading and writing, and this is led by the trained teachers, and this is done on the daily basis, and it's running very successfully over there. Here are some pictures, and I think that's it I have for it. And I personally think that I like this program. I wish I had it back in India. Okay, so second is the cadaver lab visit. Just to tell you, cadavers are non-living bodies or /dead bodies, which medical students work on for their education. Luckily, this time, Middlesex High School, as from last 11 years, we were able to go to the Rutgers Robert Wood Johnson Medical School. So they only select 10 to 11 schools in the entire district, and this time they shortened it to 5 schools, and our school was one of it. So Middlesex High School, with the kids of AP Biology, had the chance to visit the cadaver lab. I personally went over there and I loved it so much. So it is divided into two portions. It's held by the medical students, and the name of the program who is running it is BLAST program, Building Lasting Anatomical Skill Together. So this focuses on anatomy or the medical studies. As right now, AP Biology is the class which is only offered to seniors, and seniors are busy with college applications. And for college application, this is the correct time to know what you want to do in your career. And this is a very great program which is done in our Middlesex High School because it helps kids to know, are they really okay with opening a body if they want to be a surgeon? Because cadavers are dead bodies and they have no skin on them, so it's only muscles and bones. Luckily, they didn't allow us to take pictures, otherwise I would have put them. So it was divided into two portions. The first was the medical student hosted a quiz for all the kids, and that was the time where we can ask them questions related to human body and also related to their colleges. Like, I asked them a question, do you regret being a medical student? And they said a little bit they do, sometimes, when they don't get sleep. But they do not, because they get good money at the end of the day. So it was a great knowledge. It was very knowledgeable at that moment when, as right now, I'm also applying to colleges and it's very overwhelming. And we asked them, like, how did you navigate it? And they were very helpful. And they told us many tips that how you should balance your school life along with the college application. The second portion was the real fun, going with the cadavers. So it was a room, it was a really sanitized, cold room. We had 4 cadavers and we have 1 human brain lying on a desk. I touched it, yes. So the cadavers were mainly focused on the 4 regions of the body. And they were open, as I told you earlier also, and they were teaching us about the anatomy of the body. This was very useful for the students as this is where you learn, are you capable of learning all these body organs? Because this is very helpful. If you want to be a doctor, you need to be sure if you are capable of learning it, and also are you capable of opening a person's body. So it was very helpful. I hold it a human heart in my hand. I'm so happy. So it has been 11 years that Middlesex High School has been going. The teacher who took us was Miss Gittler, and this was her 11th or 12th time she went. She was happy, not as much I was. And I think that's all I had for this program. It was really good programs. Like, if you have kids, give them AP Biology and ask them to go here. It's very good. And I personally think that now I'm capable because I want to be a doctor. And there are many students, my peers, they also now think that they can also be doctor or nurses. So it's a very great program. It had a very good drawback as now I know 2 kids who want to be engineer. They changed their mind and now they want to be doctor with me. So it's great. And that's all I have for now. Thank you.
I think my kid would run out of that place. He did not go. I asked him. Thank you. And next month, we're working on putting together our liaisons also, so we should have more next month. Okay, we'll move on to number 5, approve board meeting minutes. 5.01 are minutes from last month and the reorg meeting and executive session for the committee of the whole. 5.02 is corrections and revisions to previous board agendas. So noted, we did talk about those last night. Superintendent recommends approval of action items 5.01 to 5.02 as presented. So moved.
Second.
Any questions or discussions? Okay, Annette, can you please take the roll?
Mrs. Parenti,
Yes.
Mrs. Schuler,
Yes.
Mrs. Bayachek,
Abstain from 5.01, everything but the 12:18 meeting. Yes to everything else.
Ms. Jeffrey,
Yes.
Mr. Nicolai,
Yes.
Mrs. Perry,
Yes.
Mrs. Quinn,
Yes.
Mrs. Reynolds,
Yes.
Mr. Thornton.
abstain from the committee as a whole for December and regular meetings because Melissa might forget. And yes for the reorg.
We will now open the public comment portion of the meeting. Comments at this time are limited to agenda items only. Please come to the podium and put your name, address, email address, and subject of your comment into the record book. Before speaking, please give your name, address, and subject of your comment to Ms. Annette Giordano, Business Administrator, Board Secretary. Direct your comments and questions to the Board President. You may speak on 2 separate topics for up to 3 minutes each.
Laura Thomasy, 109 Green Avenue. Is that all I need to give you? Okay. My first topic, I made a copy of the bill list, and I have several questions on it. How do I get the answers? Do I need to make an appointment with the business administrator? I don't want to read them all off here.
Do you want her to send you an email with questions? Yes, can you send an email? Can you email her your questions?
I wrote everything on here.
Okay.
I highlighted and my questions. Thank you. And just so the people in the audience know, some of my questions were the baby spa and the preschool programs that are taking place. I see that they were paid 2 times during the month of January. One was paid $18,000 and the other one I think was paid $8,700 2 times. So I don't quite understand that. There are some other things listed there that reimbursements go to people, but it doesn't explain who it goes to. That's some of the things that I have questions on. Okay. I hate to sound silly, but on the page where you're looking at the, what do you call these, readings of the bylaws, what does COW stand for?
Committee of the Whole.
Committee of the Whole, thank you, okay. And I have a few questions on, about that, some of them on there. So the food services I've read through, I may have missed a lot of things, but I would like to know an update on the lunch arrears and the protocol, any action that's been taken so far since September. And on the agenda, I noticed there were several transfers that took place from Hazelwood School. I just wonder, that seemed a little strange that so many in just one school. And my last comment on the agenda items would be, you approve the minutes of the meetings. I looked on the website unless I missed it. Is there any place that the public can see the minutes of the meetings?
Yes, they're on the school website. Or they're on board docs, but you can get to it from the school website.
Oh, I went on board docs. What's it under? At the top?
If you, well, I see it as it logged in.
Minutes of tonight?
No, and
Oh, okay.
And, well, like, I will for tonight, obviously, they'll be up at some point, but the older ones. So where are they, Danielle?
If you go to meetings
Yeah.
and you click on the left-hand side, there's dates. If you click on the meetings on the bottom, and like I said, I'm seeing as if somebody is logged in,
Okay.
there should be that says view minutes on the bottom, kind of right-hand side.
Oh, because I think I only see agenda there. So it says view agenda, download agenda, or print agenda. Is it?
I believe once the minutes are updated, that button shows as well.
Okay, so there isn't a way that I can go back and see previous minutes?
Yeah.
There is, same way, go to the meeting and look at that.
To that
Okay.
meeting,
I'll-
you'll see the whole, yeah,
Okay, different options.
but
Okay.
not for the the minutes that are here tonight.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And the board corner, I don't know is there more to, I only see like an answer to maybe 2 questions. How do I get, if there are more, I can't figure out how to do that. Or just 2 questions answered.
No, they're there by date. I think you have to click on the date, correct?
Right,
Yeah.
but I mean, like at a meeting, I looked at the last meeting and my questions that I asked should have been answered on the board doc, but I don't see them. So I don't know whether I'm not looking at it correctly. I figured if I click on the board doc and click on the meeting, the questions and answers should all appear.
Yes, the ones that the answers are available. If you want to send an email, which ones haven't been answered, you can do that. We can look into it.
Okay. And how long do you think people have to wait to get an answer from, like say tonight? For example, my questions that I had.
I think it depends on how long it takes us to get the information.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Welcome. Okay, we will now close the public comment portion of the meeting.
Is there
Oh.
another public?
Yeah, that
content?
there will be one at the end that can be on any topic. This was agenda items only.
Thanks.
Oftentimes, it may appear to members of our audience that the Board of Education takes action with very little comment and in many cases a unanimous vote. Before a matter is placed on the agenda at a public meeting, the administration has thoroughly reviewed the matter with the superintendent of schools. If the superintendent is satisfied that the matter is ready to be presented to the Board of Education, it is then referred to the appropriate board committee. The members of the board committee work with the administration and the superintendent to ensure that the members fully understand the matter. When the committee is satisfied with the matter, it is presented to the Board of Education for discussion before any final action is taken. Only then is it placed on the agenda for action at a public meeting. Okay, now we'll move on to our personnel report by our committee chair, Mr. Todd Nicolay.
Thank you, Danielle. The Personnel Committee met on Tuesday the 14th. We discussed all the items last night, committee of the whole. Superintendent recommends approval of personnel action items 9.1 to 9.12 as presented. So moved.
Second. Any questions or comments? Okay, Annette, can you please take the roll?
Mrs. Parenti,
Yes.
Mrs. Schuler,
Yes.
Mrs. Bayachek,
Yes.
Ms. Jeffrey,
Yes.
Mr. Nicolay,
Yes.
Mrs. Perry,
Yes.
Mrs. Quinn,
I need to abstain from 9.5 Gary Brenner and yes to the rest.
Mrs. Reynolds,
Abstain from 9.05 Ryan Reynolds, yes to the rest.
Mr. Thornton,
Yes.
We will move on to our education report by our committee chair, Mrs. Brenda Perry.
Good evening. The superintendent recommends approval of the education action items 11.1 through 11.13 as presented. So moved.
Second. Any questions or comments? Annette, can you please take the roll?
Mrs. Parenti,
Yes.
Mrs. Schuler,
Yes.
Mrs. Bayachek,
Yes.
Ms. Jeffrey,
Yes.
Mr. Nicolay,
Yes.
Mrs. Perry,
Yes.
Mrs. Quinn,
Yes.
Mrs. Reynolds,
Yes.
Mr. Thornton.
Yes.
Thank you. We'll move on to our policy action items. 12.01 is first reading of bylaws, policies, and regulations.
Can I interrupt for one moment?
Mhm.
I need to abstain on myself on the workshops and travel, 11.12. I couldn't find it.
Yep.
Sorry about that.
That's fine. That's all we have for policy action items. So the superintendent recommends the approval of policy action items 12.01 to 12.03 as presented. So moved.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? Annette, can you please take the roll?
Mrs. Parenti,
Yes.
Mrs. Schuler,
Yes.
Mrs. Bayachek,
Yes.
Ms. Jeffrey?
Yes.
Mr. Nicolai?
Yes.
Mrs. Perry?
Yes.
Mrs. Quinn?
Yes.
Mrs. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Thornton?
Yes.
Thank you. Now we will move on to our facilities and finance report by our committee chair, Mr. Todd Nicolai.
Thank you, Danielle. The Facilities and Finance Committee met on Tuesday, the 14th as well. Discussed last night at the committee of the whole. Superintendent recommends approval of Facilities and Finance action items 14.01 through 14.13. So moved.
Second. Any questions or comments? Okay, Annette, can you please take the roll?
Mrs. Parenti?
Abstain from 14.07, number 6, yes to the rest.
Mrs. Schuler?
Yes.
Mrs. Mayacek?
Yes.
Ms. Jeffrey?
Yes.
Mr. Nicolai?
Yes.
Mrs. Perry?
Yes.
Mrs. Quinn?
Yes.
Mrs. Reynolds?
Yes.
Mr. Thornton?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, do we have any ongoing business? New business? Okay, we will now open the second public comment portion. Comments at this time can be on any topic. Please come to the podium and put your name, address, email address, and subject of your comment into the record book. Before speaking, please give your name, address, and subject of your comment to Ms. Annette Giordano, Business Administrator, Board Secretary. Direct your comments and questions to the board president. You may speak on 2 separate topics for up to 3 minutes each.
Good evening. My name is Dana Barrows, and I'm the Vice President and Negotiations Chair of the MEA. I am also the district's enrichment teacher for kindergarten through 3rd grade, a position I'm very proud to hold. I think we can all agree that the responsibility of the board and the staff of the district is to provide the best education possible for the students of Middlesex. The students deserve nothing less. As we move into our mediation session on Monday, it is my hope that the board and the board's negotiation team agree that the staff should receive a robust and fair settlement, a settlement that reflects and respects the loyalty, dedication, and hard work that the staff provides on a daily basis through salary increases and the improvement of working conditions. The staff deserves nothing less. The MEA's negotiations team is ready. We look forward to sitting at the table with you again. Let's get this done.
Good evening. My name is Michael Jones, 121 Newmarket Road, Denellen, New Jersey. I have a child that attends Bonnie Moeller School, and I'm in front of you today because I want to bring attention to what I believe is abuse of power by our school administrator, Dr. Remy Christopherson. My son Maxwell Jones was cleared of any wrongdoing of the HIV investigation, which began on December 2025, for asking a classmate to a dance. We are grateful that it came back unfounded, as his intentions were neither harmful nor malicious. Since his innocence, Dr. Christopherson said he was still being disciplined for a level 1 infraction, disruptive behavior. She then proceeded to give him a level 2 disciplinary action, according to the code of conduct, removing Maxwell as co-president of the school. I disagreed via phone and email. However, she insisted she was justified. I sent Dr. Christopherson an email on January 15th, 2025, outlining why I disagreed, and posed questions along with raised concerns to get more clarity. To date, my email has gone without response from Dr. Christopherson. I circled back to Dr. Christopherson via email on January 21st, 2025, and CC'd Dr. Freeman. Dr. Freeman responded and said she spoke with Dr. Christopherson and my interpretation of the levels were correct. Also, Dr. Freeman emailed that Maxwell is to be restored to his role as co-president. To date, Dr. Christopherson still hasn't spoken with Maxwell about this reappointment, nor apologized for her overzealous response. Unfortunately, this is not an isolated incident of unfair treatment by Dr. Christopherson towards Maxwell. I would like to submit a letter and emails with respectfully request the board to review these documents and Dr. Christopherson's overall treatment of Maxwell. According to the anti-bullying laws and policies, teachers, administrators, and school workers are not exempt from these laws and policies. It seems as if Maxwell is being targeted. This has taken an emotional toll on him. This is not just about Maxwell, who happens to be an honor roll student as well, but also about other students who may have fallen victim to such treatment, students who may not have advocates to support them at all times. I have here a more detailed letter to explain more. I made 3 copies, and also the emails of correspondence going back and forth, as well as the student code of conduct. So I will present this to the secretary, Dr. Freeman, and then I have one for Dr. Christopherson, who I don't see here today. So would this be allowed to be reviewed?
You can give them to us.
It should go directly to the superintendent, and the superintendent will deal with it as, she sees fit. So yeah, you should give her a copy of that letter.
So just the 1 copy you're saying?
You could give her all 3, it doesn't matter, but it should go directly to her.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kathleen Rankin. I am a proud employee of Middlesex Borough for the past 26 years. And I just wanted to get up and talk to you a little bit about the great things we are doing in Middlesex. I am so impressed that Archdeep got up and said that before it was 11 times, and now we're only 1 of 5 schools that are getting invited to do that. That's amazing. This year, I also found out that we have some students that were admitted into Ivy League schools. Also amazing news for Middlesex. Some of our teachers that have come back were former students. Also amazing news for Middlesex. I am not from Middlesex. I live in Woodbridge Township. And in some of the places that I've gone and people that I've met, they know about Middlesex. Sadly, it's not because we do amazing things here. It's because we don't settle our contracts. I have come into contact with a superintendent of a neighboring district and also a board member for a neighboring district. And the board member said to me, do you know that we talk about when we're settling our contracts? We said, ooh, we gotta hurry up. We can't be like Middlesex. We have to go faster because we don't want to be the ones not settling our contracts. And the superintendent of this other district said to us, I always see you guys and you never settle your contract. Are you guys asking for millions? And I don't think that's the case. And I really would love it if other people would know us as, wow, you guys are doing amazing things, not the people that can't settle their contract. I'm begging you. Out of all of the 26 years I've been here, I think twice we settled on time. So please settle our contract. Thank you very much.
Hi, Leslie Wise. I am a district library coordinator. I'm the media specialist at Margaret and Woodland, and I'm a reach coach as well. And I'm super happy to announce that we were able to fund Maker's Day this year through the MEA. So we got a great grant through the MEA, and it'll be all volunteers. So that'll be March 21st. And we've had grants from MEA for many years, but this is the biggest. So it'll be smaller because of contract issues. So people are less likely to volunteer. In the past, we've had up to 30 volunteers. So this time we have 12 so far. But the staff who is doing it is excited about it. And we usually have 150 to 200 community members come, students and families. So I hope the board comes and enjoys what the faculty and the MEA can pull off. So thank you.
Laura Thomasy. I forgot to mention on the agenda items that the eligibility of resident, non-resident students, I read through it and I'm not quite sure. Is it just for new students being enrolled? And I'm wondering if that's the case, how are we checking for enrolled students for their eligibility as far as their residency?
We will get you that information.
Okay, thank you. I have just a few requests. So my first one is, I know it's difficult sometimes, but I was looking for the meetings for 2025. I didn't see them, and they finally came up on Monday. However, they were revised on January 10th. I don't know why they couldn't have been put up then. They were in the newspaper on the 16th. So not everybody gets the newspaper. I guess you can go online to look, but I just wondered if there could be some consistency to maybe bring that up a little earlier. I did mention about the agendas last night, and you explained that, I know things change, but also by law, you're not allowed to change a published agenda. If you publish it for Tuesday for the Wednesday meeting. And then I asked if you do make changes, instead of just making the changes in the little packet, to maybe just put an attachment so we know what changes were made. That's a request. And my last one is 2025. It's a whole new year. And I heard you talk about relationships between the board and the public and the people. And I just wondered if you could seriously think about how the meeting is run, that communication, it seems like we're asking and giving input, but we don't get anything back. And it's a little bit upsetting when we come to a meeting. I know that the council and the mayor and council are very open. If people come and ask a question, they will give an answer, or they will acknowledge in some way that they might not know the exact number or answer, but they will get back with you. But I don't know, I just get that feeling. We come up and we speak, but nothing comes back.
Thank you.
Can I say something? Do you mind? You're okay with it? So I just want to express that I feel your frustration, as I remember being in the audience pre-board member. So I do understand your frustration. I'm going to speak for myself, not the full board, but I just hope that the public understands that in this day and age, sadly, if we were to answer something incorrectly, even if we had good intentions in our answer, it's just the day and age that we would be blasted for giving incorrect information. That's why it's best that we look into it so that when the answer is publicized, or whether it's board docs or an email, that it's the correct information. Because I sometimes bite my tongue. I want to answer because I know it would be helpful and just have that open communication. But I mean, I'm not saying you in particular. When I say you, I mean society. If it's not right,
But
or
what do you
wrong.
mean
So
by getting blasted? What's the, I don't understand.
not blasted, but we would, I just don't trust social media. And we also, unlike council, we have ethics rules and that the New Jersey state make us follow. So we really can't answer some things that we maybe want to, or we're fearful of it because of the ethics rules. I don't want you to know that we do hear you and want to be able to have an open communication, which is why we started the board docs. And yes, it's evolving, so hopefully it only gets bigger and better and more transparent. But I don't think anybody up here wants to be like rude by not answering. It's just that we don't want to give something wrong and things are interpreted sometimes not correctly. So I just want you to know that we do hear you.
Thank you for responding.
Thank you. Okay, we don't have reason to go into executive session. So I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.